New year, new books. Hey everybody, Kai here, and I am here to talk about the books I'm most excited to peruse and have a good time with. Hopefully. Honestly, so many of these that I found, I have 50 books here, they all sound amazing. I feel like in 2024 and 2025, like the new books that were coming out were is 2026 the comeback year? I don't know, but these are sounding amazing. So today I present you with these 50 books that I'll probably read eventually. Some of these books probably already came out. It's like what day is it? The 21st when I am recording this. So a few of these have already come out. For example, the first book I have here that came out January 1st apparently, and that is Glyph by Ali Smith. This is the sequel to the other book by her, also called Glyph, but spelled differently. And I am so ready to sink my teeth into this. Ali Smith can do no wrong. That's what I'm coming to realize. I just recently read Companion Piece and it was so good, and I'm ready to read all of her stuff. And I read Glyph, of course. I read the first one last year, and I'm ready for the second one. Meet the Newmans by Jennifer Niven. A celebrity family who is navigating their current times, being the 60s. Well, their television show ratings are falling off. They all are having their struggles and their arcs. This sounds very intriguing to me. 1964, an iconic old show, navigating celebrity in the expanding new age of culture. And I've never heard of quite this concept in a story, so I'm really excited to see what that's all about. This author is also the one who wrote All the Bright Places. Remember that book back in the day? Like, you couldn't go anywhere online without seeing that book. And so this is so random to me, like, oh, that's the same person, cool. Next book that I'm excited for, this comes out January 13th, Lost Lambs by Madeline Cash. I know you've seen it everywhere. I've seen it everywhere. Cover is amazing. I actually really love it. And I don't really know what it's about, but it's a chaotic family dynamic and a lone girl attempting to navigate, which is my bread and butter, as we might be able to tell. Next book is This a Cry for Help by Emily Austen, who we know and love. I do not want to know what this book is about. I have no clue what it's about, guys. She's an auto-read author for me, and I still have yet to read We Are the Rats, but I'll get to it. I'll get to it, guys. I'll get to it. But I don't want to know too much, and I must know what it contains, okay? Okay. Scavengers by Kathleen Boland. A mother and daughter getting closer than they ever were. The daughter, called B, loses her job. She goes to her mother, who lives in Salt Lake City, who is a free spirit, and B finds out many surprising things about her mother, but doesn't exactly believe her at first. There's a mystery afoot. The Age of Calamities by Sina Ahmed. A short story collection that promises to be quite speculative, absurdist, and funny. I'll be the judge of that. Apparently it's about history and historical figures like Henry VIII and a murder mystery party with the likes of John Adams and Marilyn Monroe and other such figures, I suppose. And it seems super creative, and I am so down to read this. Just Watch Me by Lior Tornber. A mess of a 20-something. Just how we like them. Except this one is extra down on luck moments. Her sister is in a coma, and she has a mysterious chronic stomach pain. And I don't know if this actually happens, but it looks like she kind of becomes a lol-cow, okay? Or she at least has some lol-cow tendencies, which I've never read from that kind of perspective, and the synopsis made me believe that, she starts posting online a bit, and people are like, look at this person posting online, she's losing it. Yikes. We've seen it time and time before, so I'm intrigued to see if it goes there. It would be really cool to see the inside of that culture, because I never quite understood it. The need to glance and glare when somebody's just struggling, you know? And also, it's a freaking dope cover, so I'm excited to read it. Burn Down Master's House by Clay Kane. A group of enslaved Black individuals are interconnected. It's about the sheer resilience and bravery it takes to uprise, and says, and I quote, When these souls and those of others, oppressed and oppressors alike, collide, a visceral and indelible portrait of love, brutality, betrayal, and identity comes unsparingly to life. Sounds good. Must I say more? Vigil by George Saunders, a trippy sounding novel where a dying oil company CEO is greeted by a ghost, a figment, a supernatural force in the shape of a woman called Jill. She is in charge of taking souls to the afterlife. Sounds insane, and yeah, okay, I'll admit, I've never read George Saunders before. I've been planning to, and I know he usually does short stories, and then he had like a novel that came out just recently, kind of like in the last 5 years or whatever, and it was a big deal because it was a first novel. Well, this is his second novel, guys. I will make a priority of him this year. I Will Kill Your Imaginary Friend for $200. Crazy title already, by Robert Brockway. An 8-year-old girl has an imaginary friend who meets her needed energy, always talking and rambunctious, and there's this guy called Evanon who kills imaginary friends, but never a child's, until one day Kay, the girl, ends up in the hospital because of her friend. Eddie is not like normal imaginary friends. Sounds quirked up and silly, yet possibly dark. I'm into it. Superfan by Jenny Tungoy Zhang, a girl, Minnie, who is lonely at college, discovers a boy band called Hourglass. She has an extra affinity for the one called Halo. She becomes obsessed. Halo has a potential scandal on the horizon, and Minnie feels like she's the only one, and it is her duty to save him from this defeat. Say less. Say less. Cruelty Free by Carolyn Glenn. Once an A-list superstar, Leela Delvin's child disappears. She is forced into hiding as the press and audience claimed her an unfit mother. Dog's here, I promise. She's probably out of frame, but I promise she's here. Oh, come here. Okay, say hi. Say bark. 10 years later, she develops a skincare line in honor of her daughter. The skin's secret ingredient is revenge. That sounds corny, but it's true. This is Not About Us by Allegra Goodman. This is about a family who just had a sister/daughter die. When a small inconvenience happens, it causes the remaining two sisters to give each other a decade-long silent treatment about how these two of the same blood are getting on in life. I'm excited to read another Allegra Goodman novel. I just last year read Sam as well as Isola, and I really enjoyed both of them, and this concept sounds even more in the style of what I would enjoy. Where the Wildflowers Grow by Tara Shelton Harris. Lee has a tendency to survive. Her family is all dead. She is the last. When there's a prison bus crash and everyone dies except for her, she eventually inadvertently finds a house. The people in it become her family. This is a very interesting concept, and like, talk about survivor's guilt. Just for a little puppy break.
Hi friends, you made the boo. I'm just kidding. I don't talk about her like that. She's smarter than that. Look at her balls. Like, she expects so much of everybody. Yeah?
So Old, So Young by Grant Ginder. A group of friends span decades as dynamics shift and their personality changes and matures. You know, how do y'all even have 6 friends who all know each other? I guess some of them become romantic, so chances are higher that you all stick together, but hey, there's like 6 of them and they're all friends and we're gonna talk about them. I'm excited for it. Cleaner by Jess Shannon. A woman with many degrees goes back home. Nobody finds use for these degrees. She gets the quickest job possible, a cleaner for an art gallery. There, she meets another woman who's also an aspiring artist, and they develop an affair, as one does. This is really giving like Jen Bacon or something. Like, that's what the vibes are here. It sounds like I'd devour it, so I will choose to do that when the time is right. Holy Boy by Lee Hee-jo. 4 women, okay, this one sounds insane. 4 women kidnap a K-pop idol. they all have their own reasons. One of them is his birth mom. I assume chaos will ensue, something crazy like that. I already love the setting. Like, apparently they're in the Korean mountains and they keep him in a mansion. I'm here already. I'm reading it already. Brawler Stories by Lauren Groff. Lauren Groff out here with another short story collection. Bet your ass I'm gonna read them. She is another author that I need to read, like, backlog. Like, I read Furies and Fates, and I've been meaning to read her for a long time, and so hopefully this year that does happen. I'll do it this year. Like, sure, why not? Nowhere Burning by Catriona Ward. Two kids run away from home. For some reason, the older sister wants to squat with some other teenagers in this abandoned ruins of an infamous movie star's ranch that they call Nowhere. The other teenagers are menaces, and they are evil. I've got to know where this storyline goes. Ward is so good at the eerie, ominous type stories, so I appreciate her work. I've read all of it except for Little Eve. I've not read that one yet. Maybe I'll get to that this year as well. Sisters in Yellow by Miyoko Kawakami. New Kawakami just dropped. What up? I do not want to know what this is about. It's Kawakami, of course it's gonna be good, of course it's gonna be genius, of course I'm gonna read it, okay? I Love You Don't Die by Jade Song. Vicky obsesses over the inevitability that is death. Sounds familiar. She surrounds herself with it throughout her life, like where she decides to live and work. She feels meaningless and spends her life doom scrolling. Sounds familiar. Until one day she becomes a part of a throuple. Sounds familiar. Just kidding. This sounds insane. I love a cloudy, sad, misguided, misunderstood, miserable character. She's just like me for real. Black Bag by Luke Kennard. Seems bizarre. A man books a job for a psychology professor called Dr. Blend. He is an experimental subject. He is to sit in the back of the lecture hall in a big black zippered up bag. The question is how the students will react to him. Another professional is doing an experiment on Black Bag Guy as well. I love books about experiments, and especially like the psychological type of experiments. I Am Agatha by Nancy Foley. Agatha meets an old lady called Alice with dementia during her new life in New Mexico. Agatha is more on the curmudgeonly side, so it is to her surprise that she falls in love with this lady. After Agatha's son comes around unexpectedly, Alice goes missing. This sounds so good. It says it's for readers of Elizabeth Strout and Sigrid Nunez, both of whom I love down. Suitcase Poems by Maggie Smith, and it's a poetry book with a beautiful cover, so of course I'm going to take a gander. That's all you need to know. The Fourth Wife by Linda Hamilton. A gothic novel about a Mormon woman in the 1870s. She daydreams of a monogamous life. She tries to be the perfect meek wife her husband expects, being happy about being the fourth wife and be grateful to be a sister wife. The vibes are off, and if you can imagine, the horror ensues. I love Mormons. Hate them to death. Love them. So much. Morbid curiosity, of course, as it goes. I've got to read this. And I don't think I've ever read anything about Mormons, let alone in the 1800s, so. Nothing Tastes as Good by Luke Dumas. A millennial man who is 300 pounds has a dead-end life. He takes this new weight loss drug called Obexity. It changed his life and he sheds weight rapidly, but there are frightening side effects. He starts craving things he didn't before. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, give me some good cannibalism, why not? Of course. A Good Person by Kirsten King. Lillian is upset to be in a situationship with Henry, but she has a plot to placate and appease him, so he truly falls for her. He breaks up with her instead. One day, she drunkenly puts a hex on him and he dies. She becomes the prime suspect. Sounds like a messy time. Sounds like a good time. Yesteryear by Carrie Claire Burke. This one sounds so good. A perfect little rustic, unschooling, raw milk guzzling influencer all of a sudden wakes up in 1805. I think this sounds like a riot, and I know a few people on the internet I would not mind this happening to. You know the ones. We see them. They're scary. I go straight to thinking of the Fundy and other extreme religion families who post their perfect lives online, but in reality, we're all just waiting for the Netflix documentary to come out about them. I ate that shit up. This is going to be so interesting. The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances by Glenn Dixon. This sounds too goofy to be real, and that's exactly why I need it now. The appliances are sentient in this one. One day, when a Roomba hears its owners reading To Kill a Mockingbird to his dying wife, the Roomba decides to call himself Scout. Eventually, both owners die, and when trying to get the man out, the appliances and other humans realize they've been controlled by the mysterious force called the Grid. They work together to defeat it. And it sounds like a raucous good time. Say less. Like This But Funnier by Hallie Contour. Caroline is close to giving up on her Hollywood ambitions. Then, one day, she sneaks a glimpse of her therapist's husband's session notes. These notes belong to a producer who they call the teacher. Caroline pitches a show about this person's secrets and inner workings and develops a relationship with the teacher character. All I know is I'm down, and people were saying it's like laugh out loud type funny, so here's to hoping. I need that in my life, okay? Morsel by Carter Keene. A horror novella about a girl trying to provide for her family. With an ill mother, she decides to take a job in rural Ohio. Her truck breaks down with just her and a dog in the Appalachian forest. Something is seemingly awry in the woods. Sign me up. Devil of the Deep by Valencia Jean Franchot. Lieutenant Lou Ortega goes off on a journey to hunt a talisman who has a mermaid. On his way, he finds Nina, who he thought was dead. She is now renowned as the Devil of the Deep for her sword skills. She meets Pearl along the way, who, quote, had defied the all-powerful sea god and might hold a valuable key to finding her people's lost island. I'm here for the mermaids, I don't know. Mocha by Monica Kim. A mocha epidemic is afoot, and our main character, Dai, is a victim. Somebody she starts trusting is untrustworthy. A man who already has mocha tendencies face all his energy towards her. It sounds dark and twisted, and I'm so excited, and this is from the same author of The Eyes Are the Best Part, which I have read and I really enjoyed, and I want to know what else Monica Kim has up her sleeve. Honey by Imani Thompson. A woman called Irsa in college who can't stand men. One day, her best friend says the professor she's been having an affair with stole her research. Irsa witnesses that same professor die after an allergic reaction to bees. Irsa finds that she likes it a little too much to watch him suffer. She takes matters into her own hands. I like this trope well enough. I don't read many, but when I do, it's a nice treat. Like a good for her novel, if you will. The Things We Never Say by Elizabeth Strout. Elizabeth Strout is at it again, and that's all that matters. But it's a typical character study, as she's known to do. Something about a teacher, I don't know. I don't want to know. I know she's gonna do me right. John of John by Douglas Stewart. A story about a boy. Douglas Stewart's favorite. He goes back home after being in university and relives childhood. I don't want to know too much about this story. I will inevitably pick it up. His books are very slow and purposeful, usually a little sad with queer themes. I actually haven't read Shuggy Bane. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. I will. I've had the intention to, but I have read Young Mungo and I really enjoyed it. Off Season by Abigail Sharp. We're dealing with a slightly crazy person in this one. We follow a woman who works as an English teacher at an all-girls boarding school. She is on a quest to find where her life went wrong. She swears she will never go back to her hometown, but eventually she has to. She is haunted by something from her adolescence. I need to read this right fucking now. Might try and even get an arc. I have a feeling this one spans a bit and is more than meets the eye. Dead weight. One night, a lady called Unar follows a black cat. She finds the owner, Asta, who is in desperate need of help. The two form a friendship and violence eventually ensues. I read The Night Guest and really enjoyed this author's style, so I'm excited to see what this is all about. Whistler by Anne Patchett. This book is seemingly mysterious, but not a mystery. A woman who is now 53 reunites with her ex-stepfather, who she hasn't seen since she was 9. Apparently, they were formative in each other's lives, and they both have deep hidden regret. I don't know where this is going, but I am sat. And I wonder if a horse will be involved. Love this cover. Love this cover. Don't know if it's about horses. Rabbit Fox Tar by P.C. Verone. One day, a black woman randomly shows up, which is a rare in this place. She sits on a garden wall and talks to herself. Something about this girl is seemingly supernatural. One day, a guy called Lucky comes by and they fall in love. It sounds like there will be a conversation about traumatic happenings from the places you came from. Sounds very intriguing. The Misconnection by Tia Williams. A romance that starts with being airplane seatmates. I love the way Tia Williams writes. She's one of the only romances I can read without cringing or straight up hating. So I hope to have that experience again, but we're gonna have to take a second because what the fuck is this cover? Like, it's insane. It looks like half done or something. I don't know. Anyway, don't judge a book by its cover, hopefully. Ghost Eye by Amitav Ghosh. A magical realism book taking place in India in the 1960s. Although never having eaten meat, Gupta requests for fish at 3 years old. She has unexplainable knowledge of how to prepare different meats. A sure sign she is a reincarnation. They take her to a doctor who specializes in past lives, who thinks she may also harness special powers. Pool House by Mary H.K. Choi. Stevie Moon lives a mundane life who wants to escape the LA culture that her mother, Delilah, or Moon, forced upon her. Moon has just lost her lover and on-screen husband, and she is grieving. Everybody is seemingly leaving Moon, including her daughter. The two end up in a big house with Adam, Moon's on-screen son. It says that they are play acting a picture-perfect family, even as tensions rise and relationships unravel. It sounds so good, and we love Mary H.K. Choi, and I think this might be her first adult novel, so I'm really excited to see how she does with it. Country People by Daniel Mason. This sounds so good. About a man called Michael who is scared he is disappointing his family. One day, his wife gets a job as a professor at a prestigious Vermont university. He meets a whole host of characters and he makes friends, and then it gets bizarre. I already know this is gonna slay because I can't think of an author who would do this concept justice, okay? Daniel Mason, after reading Northwoods, I fear he can do no wrong. Hello, Limerence by Momo Yamaguchi. Mika is a 25-year-old virgin. Oh, God forbid. She is utterly tired of the men who do happen to make advances on her. She eventually loses, and I quote, half of her virginity. I don't know what that means. On 2 different men. One who can't commit, and the other one who's toxic. It sounds messy, if not a little stressful, which is my favorite type of stories. And lastly, I have here is Exit Party by Emily St. John Mandel. She has written another book. This takes place in 2031. Something happened in LA to have significant curfew, but this is all about having a party the night it's lifted, that curfew is lifted. I don't really know. It sounds convoluted a bit, but it's Emily, so I'll read it. So yeah, those are some books that I'm looking forward to in this next year. I might do a second half where a little bit more books kind of drop in the comments. What are you looking forward to? Thank you for watching. This is actually one of my favorite videos to do of every year because it is a good reflection of just like, oh, what's gonna come out? Like, what are we looking at? So it gets me really hyped for the upcoming book year, and yeah. Those are the anticipated reads that we all pray and sing, that we all really need in our lives. I'm reading around for like Tessa Moshfegh to drop another banger or something. You know, I'm waiting around for certain people. I'm like, okay, not this year, but maybe next. Anyway, bye. Thank you for watching.